We have these crossroads. And you know, either way you choose, your life is going to be different.
The universe doesn't exist, but God thinks it does.
We have to stop consuming our culture. We have to create culture.
Stupidity has a definite evolutionary function. I am all for abolishing stupidity, but before it goes, we should pay tribute to it.
Howdy and welcome to the Nonsense Bazaar. We're your hosts. I'm Willow Truman.
I'm Sequoia Kennedy, and you've been getting way too comfortable with the word howdy.
I just like it as a greeting.
That's fine.
Howdy.
That's a good one.
Howdy, y'all.
No.
I did spend the first 2 years of my life in Georgia, so do I get a y'all pass? Can I say y'all?
I mean, dude, people around here say y'all.
It's true.
Like,
yeah.
Dude.
People around here think they're from the South. I'm in Connecticut, by the way.
Where we are is a little slice of the Deep South.
It's odd.
It's really like it's a different accent. It's like the New England accent with a little twang.
Yeah.
They say y'all unironically, so I do too, because I just fucking grew up with it.
We had a bring your tractor to school day at my high school.
I mean, dude, also, the biggest event that ever happened in my town was the tractor pull.
Oh, yeah.
At the old home days.
Oh, yeah.
We also had the, I believe it was the last and possibly largest legal gathering of the Ku Klux Klan.
Holy shit. Well, that's relevant to today's episode.
I know. Unfortunately, yeah.
Which is like, this is a different flavor of episode than we've done in a while. I'm
talking about a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually not the case. We've had a lot of like fallen heroes who start off like seeming good and then sort of drop off, like John Murray Spear.
Or anti-heroes.
Yeah, a lot of anti-heroes.
John McAfee.
Mm-hmm. But today we're talking about someone who has actually made a large positive imprint.
This is actually something I was thinking about yesterday, researching my next episode. Researching unequivocally a role model.
Yeah.
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 Like Harriet Tubman, role model.
Totally.
It's another one. It's just we went right to we need some real just good in our lives after the stretch.
Oh, yeah. After the things we've been looking into, I need someone who inspires me.
Exactly.
You know, not someone who makes me cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need some inspiration.
I think we all do.
Hero.
Holy goddamn it. I'm
holding out for a hero.
I was going to put that in a drop for my next episode.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I have like song psychic powers with you.
You really do.
Where I always predict the songs that you're going to use. I don't know how I do it.
Really funny.
Yeah, that's my psychic power.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, so my knowledge on Harriet Tubman before this episode, pretty limited.
Bare bones.
Quite honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew she was a former slave who helped rescue other enslaved people, and she was led by the North Star and the Underground Railroad, and everybody loves her, and that's about where my knowledge of her ended.
She dug the first subway system.
Really?
Yeah, the Underground Railroad.
It wasn't actually underground.
It wasn't?
No.
Yeah, I know. That's what I pictured when I was a kid, though.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, I mean... That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds like an underground railroad. Yeah.
So, also, when I was I won't sing the song, but god damn it, I know every word. In elementary school, they had our class of about 30 white kids all sing this song that is from the point of view of a fugitive slave about being rescued by Harriet Tubman.
I'm pretty sure they had us sing that fucking song, too.
It's a pretty catchy song. But it's so funny that they had us all sing that. And, I still know all the words. And I've been singing it all week, and I won't do it right now. I won't. So there is a lot that I didn't know about Harriet Tubman. The song doesn't go over it.
Yeah.
History class didn't go over it. Did you know that she was so good at espionage and wearing disguises that the CIA recently erected a statue in her honor, calling her the model spy?
Holy shit.
I didn't know that she was known for being a spy, too. It makes sense.
Espionage, doing shit in the shadows, dude.
Yeah.
Tight as hell.
I also had no idea how much of a role the divine played in her story. I mean, Harriet the spy, that makes sense.
Because that was...
Yeah.
you know.
She has to operate in secrecy. But what about...
Also Harriet the Spy.
Harriet the Psychic Spy.
Fuck yeah. Oh,
right?
I love a good psychic spy.
And this is a callback to our series on...
I love a good psychic spy. Hell yeah.
Like, who the fuck knew? Well, you know who knew?
Who knew?
This author, Eric Wargo.
Okay.
He happens to be my primary source for this episode. He has an article in Edge Science titled Harriet Tubman, Precog. This article blew my fucking mind.
Okay.
So I decided, like, I need to make an episode about Harriet Tubman and share this information on the Nonsense Bazaar.
Fuck yeah, you do.
Because, like, it rounds out her character more. Because, you know, to just be this hero that did all these great things, it flattens her in a way.
Right. Yeah. There's I think one of the great failings of the fucking public education system, especially when it comes to history, is like turning humans into cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, it's not the real story.
Right.
It's not actually what happened.
So if you're interested in things like precognitive dreaming, I also recommend this guy, Eric Wargo, whose article I'm working off of. He's got a book called Time Loops and Precognitive Dream Work and the Long Self that I recommend to anyone interested in these topics. So, before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's stop and pull our tarot card for this week's episode. I know, I put it in the script
Put
so
it in
that
the script.
I don't forget.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I might. 7 of Wands.
Oh, interesting. 7 of Wands, also known as Valor.
Yeah.
It's I'm a big fan of the 7 of Wands, like as I don't know, it's like one of those like fun concepts for me to describe, I guess.
There's a lot of power.
Yeah, like
coming from this card. It's very powerful.
So think of like in the Thoth deck, it showed the image is like looks like a broken spine.
Mm-hmm.
And like so 7 is the sphere of Netzach, the sphere of beauty, essentially. Or beauty, art, love.
Is there a reason why I associate 7 with Venus?
Yes. Yeah, that's why 7th sphere, Netzach, is ruled by Venus.
Oh, I did not even consciously know that, but I subconsciously knew that.
Yeah. I believe the name of that sphere is Victory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Hod is Splendor. Also Glory, I think, is a word associated with Netzach. Anyway, like, the 7 of Wands depicts a dude like standing at the top of a hill, and there's all these 6 staffs pointed up at him, and he's got a staff and he's fighting. He's on his last legs.
Yeah.
Like, he's going down with a fight.
Oh, yeah.
That's the 7 of Wands.
Right.
It's the beauty in the fucking dude who goes down fighting.
Yeah.
It's that, that's a Valor. Interesting.
Very interesting. I love it.
Just close my eyes again. Climbed aboard the Dreamweaver train. Trying to take away my worries of today and leave tomorrow behind. Ooh, I believe you can get me through the night. Ooh, Dreamweaver, I believe we can reach the morning light. Fly me high through the starry skies. Maybe to an astral plane. Cross the highways of fantasy. Help me to forget today's pain. Ooh, Dreamweaver, I believe you can get me.
That is a good song. Shit.
Yeah, I did. Like, when I would think of that song in my mind, I imagined it. I always think of it way differently than it actually sounds. The synths in that are like cool.
Yeah, and they got that the organ with like the Leslie speaker, rotating speaker.
Yeah. Harriet was a fucking dreamweaver, though. Like, literally, though.
Word.
And she was leading people through the night.
I mean, it's incredibly appropriate.
Yeah. So a lot of biographers have downplayed the supernatural aspects of Harriet's life because, you know, they think for some reason it's going to help maintain their integrity and hers.
Yeah.
You know, like, if they bring it up, then it's sort of taking away from the archetypal Harriet Tubman that we all know, like the hero archetype. And they don't know how to synthesize her having these supernatural experiences and visions with all of these tangible real life things that she's done.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if people stopped pulling that shit, we'd be better off as a species. We'd understand a lot more of the confusing things that we all experience.
Right.
You know?
So before we get super into Harriet's story, I wanted to talk about some other like notable prophetic dreams.
Okay.
Because this is a thing.
It's a thing.
This is a really common thing. A lot of important contributions in both art and science might not have even happened if it wasn't for people having these precognitive dreaming experiences.
Okay.
Like the father of quantum mechanics, Niels Bohr.
Niels Bohr.
One night he went to sleep and he saw the nucleus of the atom and the electrons spinning around it, sort of like planets spinning around a sun. And when he woke up, he just knew that what he had seen was accurate and worked to prove what he had seen.
Yeah.
Which was accurate.
Yeah.
He dreamed that shit.
Yeah.
Or Einstein, the theory of relativity, he had some dream about like cows or something.
Okay. Yeah, a cow dreamed.
Yeah.
Theory of relativity. A cow dream.
The guy who discovered that insulin could be used to help diabetes got the idea from a dream about a diabetic dog. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. There's also this guy, Srinivasa Ramanujan. He was a self-taught mathematical genius who made substantial contributions to the analytical theory of numbers. Ooh. He proved more than 3,000 mathematical theorems in his lifetime.
Damn.
And you know where he got them from? In his dreams, while contacting the Hindu goddess Namagiri while dreaming, the goddess of creativity.
Interesting.
Yeah. He was very into like dream interpretation and astrology.
Word.
And he understood math and spirituality, like religion. He was Hindu. He believed these things to be synthesized.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like, he thought that 0 represented absolute reality and infinity represented the manifestations within that reality, all of the different things that could happen within the universe.
Yeah.
There's one quote from him. An equation for me has no meaning unless it expresses a thought of God. So there's so many people that have been like divinely led or prophetically led into important discoveries in the scientific, mathematical, other fields.
Yeah. It's almost like it's not as stupid as everyone assumes.
It's not stupid at all.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing.
Yeah. I've heard that quote before and I've always liked it.
It's a good quote.
I mean, some would argue that like these people having these dreams about like math and science and stuff, well, their brain is just putting things together.
Right.
You know.
But isn't it interesting that they can reach those conclusions in the dream state rather than in the waking state? Yeah.
I mean, you know, was it Da Vinci's thing? I think Einstein might have done this too. I think a lot of I think Leonardo da Vinci came up with like a method to use the hypnagogic state to figure problems out.
Yeah.
And so what he would do is go to like take a nap with 2 heavy steel balls in his hand. Mm-hmm. And so that like, because you know, when you're in the hypnagogic state, you have a great idea and you're like, oh, this is the best idea of my life. I'll write it down in the morning.
Yeah.
And then you forget. So he'd go to sleep with these 2 steel balls. And when he went into full sleep, they'd fall out of his hand and wake him up.
Right.
Yeah. And they'd write down the thing he was thinking about.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, so now that we're all in agreement that dreams can have real impact on real life and help people reach important conclusions.
I love the fact that the audience, I can't hear the audience.
Yeah.
We're all in agreement.
Now that you and I are in agreement.
That's all of us.
Harriet Tubman. Did you know that that's not her birth name?
I did not.
She was born Araminta Ross, also known as Minty.
Minty Ross is such a better name than Harriet Tubman. Yeah. It's really the Tubman part that needs to go.
Mm-hmm. That was her husband's name that she ended up taking. Minty Ross was born somewhere around early 1822. See, it's hard to know because didn't keep records.
Yeah, exactly.
To father Ben Ross and mother Harriet Rit Green.
Rit.
Yeah, she got a little nickname too.
Nice.
So as a baby, her whole family was enslaved by this guy, Anthony Thompson.
He fucking sounds like it.
He was a prominent local landowner on Maryland's eastern shore, and they were all enslaved by that guy until she was like 1 or 2. And then her siblings and mother were all separated from her father and taken to Anthony Thompson's stepson's property.
Oh, good.
So that's like, there's another major trauma.
Yeah.
That sucks for everybody.
Damn.
So it's fun. Like sometimes spoiled kids get, like a car from their parents.
Yeah,
and their parents like buy them a house. This kid, he gets his very own plantation and some slaves, his family slaves. Here, son.
God, that must have just been.
That was just how it was.
Yeah.
Like I've been really meditating on that this week, how fucking normal this way of life was.
Yeah.
And how horrifying that is.
Yeah.
Like just exchanging humans, like goods and services. Imagine inheriting a fucking person. That's unthinkable.
Oh yeah, it's abhorrent. It's fucking. It's just.
But that was just normal. So his stepson, his name's Edward Brodus.
Yep.
And obviously goes without saying they're all pieces of shit.
Probably.
But something especially extra shitty that Edward Brodus did was separate Minty from her mother and siblings. So she's already been detached from her father.
Yeah.
Now she's getting detached from her family, and she's basically getting like hired out to other white people in the area, which was like a common practice, sort of like renting your slave out to another family to have for the day.
I mean, it's the same thing people do with like heavy machinery.
Yeah.
It's
so fucked up. So
how angry am I going to get from here on out?
It's infuriating.
Okay. Just prepare.
Because it's like, you only have so many slaves. If one comes down with a fever, you can sort of just like hire your neighbor's slave for the day.
Right.
And so it was during these separations that there were 2 defining traumatic events that took place in Minty's life. At age 7 or 8, Minty was sent to work for a Miss Susan, who needed her help with her newborn baby.
Okay.
Miss Susan was so cruel and so awful that even the other slave masters were like, whoa,
Jesus
Susan,
Christ.
Susan, you got to cool it down. You're doing too much. Yeah. Minty was brutally whipped on the first day for not knowing how to dust furniture.
I don't know how to dust furniture.
No, I don't think I've ever really.
No.
I mean, I've dusted a table or 2, but but it's bad when the other slave masters think that you're being too cruel.
Yeah.
Like, how fucking bad are you? Even Susan's sister, who was visiting one time, had to be like, hey,
chill the fuck out.
Yeah. Like, I can't sit by and watch this. It was interesting that you brought up hypnagogic states because Minty had to stay up all night with this newborn baby that was crying all the time.
Yeah.
And if she stopped rocking the baby or fell asleep, she would get whipped or smacked. So she was like sort of trained to stay awake through the night, even though she needed sleep. Like she was not getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
That's definitely a way to make someone, first of all, be trained how to disassociate.
Sure. Yeah.
How to go into these out of body states. And like also when you are sleep deprived, and I'm sure you've been sleep deprived before, you pulled an all-nighter or 2 in your life.
Yeah, sometimes I can't sleep. Like last night.
You start seeing and experiencing weird shit.
Yeah.
It sort of like opens up this channel of the dream world and it starts to sink into real life. So from a young age, like 8 years old, she's being trained to know how to push through those states.
Yeah.
And maintain a wakeful state despite falling asleep.
Yeah.
So that's of note.
Useful skill for a spy.
Incredibly. Like tragic, but useful.
Yeah.
Another incident. Minty was hired as a young teenager to break flax for a dude known as the worst man in the neighborhood.
Oh, great.
Again, she's just like, she keeps getting sent to the worst people, like Miss Susan.
Yeah.
Like the one that the other slave masters look down on. And now the worst man in the neighborhood.
Wow.
So she's on an errand to the dry goods store, which is also interesting to think. Life was so different.
It sure was.
Yet a lot of it also similar. So she's at the dry goods store. What do they sell there? Like
flour, sugar,
grains,
coffee, maybe grains.
There's this fugitive slave who was fleeing from a nearby farm who had run into the store to take refuge. And the overseer from that farm, like, comes in and he's like, "You girl, help me restrain him." You know, and she's like, "I don't want anything to do with this." So this overseer decides, well, fine. He just picks up this 2-pound scale, this weight, and just throws it at the fugitive, like trying to stop him.
Yeah.
But instead it hits Minty in the head and it cracks her skull open.
What the fuck?
And of course she doesn't get to receive any medical care after this. Right. She's sort of just, she gets to stay in bed for a day and then she's made to return back to work. But she's trying to work. She's fainting. She's falling all over. There's like blood in her eyeballs. It's bad. It's very bad.
It's comically fucked up.
Yeah, like she's worthless. She can't do anything. So the worst man in the neighborhood decides to just return her to Edward Brodus and is like, "Listen, I can't work with her."
Jesus.
And after that, Brodus is unable to rent her out to people afterwards due to the injury.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess at least she can be near her family now.
It's hard finding any silver lining. You keep wanting to, but
yeah.
What the fuck? God damn it.
So following that event with the 2-pound weight to her skull, Minty experiences frequent headaches, and she would also occasionally fall into a deep sleep, like a deep but a light sleep, if you know what I mean.
With one eye open.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a restful sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
Biographer Kate Clifford Larson interpreted her narcoleptic episodes and, you know, the religiosity, the visions, the states of being unable to move. I mean, where have we heard this before? The temporal lobe epilepsy.
I mean, you hear it a lot.
Yeah, as sort of this catch-all explanation for people that have these visions.
Sure.
And it very well might be true. There's good reason to believe that it's true.
Yeah, there is.
But does it discount the fact that what was seen in these visions could have been precognitive or could have predicted things in the future?
Of course not.
Right.
Like, if the temporal lobe is the thing that allows that to happen and then something happens that just makes it fire.
I mean, temporal relates to time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So something skewing your sense of time, temporal lobe epilepsy.
I wonder.
Isn't it crazy to think that you could see into the future in these temporal episodes?
Is that why it's named the temporal lobe? Because it processes time? Do we know that?
I don't know.
We're just going to acknowledge that we don't know for sure if that's the case. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like that is perhaps the mechanism, right? But that's not the reason.
Right.
A lot of times they treat the mechanism as the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think that the medical diagnosis doesn't just explain away everything that happened, right? Like there's so many more questions.
Well, because it's also like, of course there's a mechanism. No one said there has to be a mechanism.
If you're experiencing it with your human body, then it's reflected within the body.
Yeah.
You could assign it whatever name you want.
Like shit, I don't know if you're saying that shit just happens for no reason or whatever. I don't know. Well, who knows? Sometimes I think so.
So how did Minty Ross turn into Harriet Tubman?
Yeah.
Okay. The change took place in 1844 at age 22 when Minty Ross married a free black man named John Tubman. And then she took the name after her mother, Harriet, so they'd kind of always be together in that way.
Word. Okay.
Which makes sense to me.
It's funny that you said the change, like the apotheosis.
So this is the
evolution
thing,
of Minty into Harriet.
Like Harry Houdini. I could think of a bunch more, but that's the only one I can think of. Like people change their names when they have sort of these magical transformations, when they become these historical figures. Like a lot of people do have these name changes at an important time in their life, I've noticed.
That's true.
Yeah. So although she was married to a free man, Harriet remains enslaved until 1849.
Oof.
So that's another 5 years. And you know, Edward...
That's fucking rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know Edward Brodus, the plantation owner?
Oh, yeah.
So there's news spreading around the plantation that he's planning to sell Harriet and her siblings down farther south, where it's obviously even harder to flee to freedom because it's a longer journey.
They're in Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, conditions down there are worse, which imagine that.
Right.
Like, so Harriet begins praying for his death.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Up until then, she had always prayed for him to repent and realize his wicked ways, but now she didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Let him rot. Let him die. Here's a quote from Harriet. 1st of March, I began to pray, "Oh Lord, if you aren't ever going to change that man's heart, kill him, Lord, and take him out of the way."
Fuck yeah.
So,
yeah.
1st of March, she begins to pray, right?
Yeah.
He died March 9th.
Divine retribution, son.
Yeah.
What the fuck is good?
Instant karma.
That's sick.
So, yeah. That year, Harriet's also having these dreams of horsemen and the terrified screams of women and children. She starts talking about escaping. For some reason, her husband, John, is not on board with that choice. But too fucking bad for John.
Yeah.
She learns that 2 of her sisters had been sold away on a chain gang, which is basically the start of how our legal slavery in the prison system began.
Yeah.
You know, how we just have legal slavery today. So with the risk that she might be sold next, Harriet threw caution to the wind and decided that she's going to get the fuck out of there. And soon.
Hell yeah.
Autumn of that year.
Fuck yeah.
So a lot of this information within Eric Wargo's article comes to us through way of Sarah H. Bradford, who was one of Harriet Tubman's earliest biographers. They knew each other personally.
Oh, okay. Word.
So at first, Harriet meant to bring along her 2 brothers, but for whatever reason, they changed their minds and they wouldn't continue any farther. So she decides, all right, I'm going to try again. Makes the second trip just by herself, which, by the way, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. No, that's insane.
Like, she traveled 90 miles by herself. And of course, you know, by the late 18th...
In enemy territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Underground Railroad was a functioning secret network made up of free blacks, slaves, Quakers.
Yeah.
Other anti-slavery whites, and also a lot of white people that were pretty indifferent to the whole thing, but they could get a paycheck for...
Yeah, mercenaries, yeah.
Yeah, so they were doing it too. So yeah, following the North Star, Harriet makes it to Philadelphia. She describes it like being reborn. Do you want to read that quote?
I looked at my hands to see if I was the same person. There was such glory over everything. The sun came like gold through the trees, over the fields, and I felt like I was in heaven. In Philadelphia, no less.
Yeah.
That fucking bad you gotta be. Philadelphia seems like heaven.
Right? Well, I guess, you know, the Philadelphia was kind of a city representing freedom at that time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. I was really thinking this week, too, how crazy it is that there was the Underground Railroad. Like, just this network of people willing to temporarily house, shelter, and take care of individuals who had nowhere else to go. Because imagine you're running away from the plantation. You don't know how to read or write. You don't know anybody. You're wanted.
Yeah.
Like, they're looking to fucking kill you, snatch you, take you back, torture you if they get you. So you're really, like, risking it to go.
Yeah.
And these, I don't know. I just think that it's so cool.
Yeah. No,
that so many people were willing to participate.
Who weren't
in
down
helping.
with the bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very cool.
And for like, nothing in return.
And it's possible because it wasn't a technological surveillance state, although
that's true.
A lot of I do feel like a lot of shit still happens in secret. We
yeah,
just kind of
I would hope so. I was wondering.
I hope so.
I was like, is there still a network like that today that like helps migrants or helps people that need it or helps people like escaping domestic abuse? Like you can just low key like come stay with me. I'll take care of you until we can It
definitely is that. I don't think it's that low key.
Yeah,
it's widespread enough or well known.
Right. I think that just the display of direct aid is very inspiring to me.
For sure.
Yeah.
Not no Twitter mutual aid where it's all bots scamming each other.
Right. So after getting to Philadelphia, what do you think she does? She turns around and she goes right back to get more people.
Shit.
And just keeps doing that for the next 10 years. She made multiple trips back to the eastern shore of Maryland, back to the exact farm that she had escaped from.
Oh, wow.
Which is, like, so cool. Like, I mean, it's not so cool, but, like, imagining having to go back to the place and evade detection. There was one time where her former master was walking by and she was scared of being seen and recognized. Yeah. So she, like, causes this commotion with the chickens so that they're flying all around and he can't see her with the chickens all around her.
I mean, it's like, I mean, that's even more dangerous than just going to some random fucking...
Oh, because if she's caught, you know, they're fucking killing her.
Oh, yeah, dude.
You know?
Yeah. Slowly and brutally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to make it an example. Lesson out of her.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's fucking hardcore.
It's incredibly brave. So, Sarah Bradford, the biographer, her count was originally like 300 slaves and 19 journeys, but later biographer Kate Larson, who did more research, points to a more accurate figure of probably about 70.
Still which is a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some tricks that she used to evade detection? Well, like I mentioned earlier, she was a master of disguise, and she could, in fact, hide in plain sight. She often pretended to be like an old or just confused woman. Yeah. Just... Yeah, as Eric Wargo writes, she cloaked herself within the prejudices of her own enemies who never imagined a black woman going about her daily business could pose a threat. Which is brilliant.
It is.
You know?
Yeah, dude.
Like, use their perception of you to your advantage.
Yeah. No, that's fucking brilliant. They expect to see an old black woman they can just sneer at or fucking not think about.
Yeah.
They're used to not thinking about women like her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or who couldn't possibly be there because she's spying on you and secretly eavesdropping on every single word you're saying.
There's no
way. You know, yeah. Just, you know, even they probably don't even consider her a person. So how could they consider that she has like a dialogue going on in her head? Yeah. So it's brilliant.
Let alone outsmart them.
Yeah. Which she did many times.
Sick.
So a decade later, 1859, she's helping anti-slavery activists in New York stage the rescue of a fugitive slave from U.S. Marshals. She infiltrates the U.S. Commissioner's office, where this slave's fate, Charles Nally, is being discussed in the U.S. Commissioner's office. And Harriet just sits her little self on a chair. She's 5 feet tall. She's tiny. She's wearing a bonnet. Nobody's paying her any mind. She just has her paper out. She's reading it. Whatever. She just sits there unnoticed until it's time for Charles Nally to be moved to a more secure location. And then, unsuspecting little old lady, she signals to the mob outside that it's time to attack. To pry Charles Nally from the grip of authorities and bring him to a ferry that's waiting on a nearby waterfront to bring him to safety.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Another disguise of hers was dressing as a man.
Yeah.
Because she was, after all, known to the people as Moses. And just by her reputation alone, most people assumed her to be male, which worked in her favor because everyone's looking for Moses, you know, this guy that's bringing slaves to freedom and, you know, but no, it's just Harriet. So this works to her advantage, too. There was another time she and a large party had to cross the Delaware Bridge. There are some Irish laborers working on the bridge. She takes a little bit of a different approach. She's not going with the old confused lady. Yeah. She's not going with the man. She got a little flirty. And this is a side of Harriet I've never thought about, is like the flirty Harriet that has a sex drive. It's odd how we like desexualize
our heroes.
Yeah.
Cartoon characters.
Right. So she starts talking to these Irish dudes, and what's the state of like Irish people in the United States at this time? Are they?
I mean, they're white people, but everyone hates them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering.
The lowest of the white people, probably.
Yeah.
Depending on the place. Yeah.
So she's talking to these Irish dudes about
I'm not sure about the South. I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's Delaware.
I don't know about. No, I barely even know that Delaware exists.
Yeah. I forget about it.
It's next to Maryland.
If
you can believe
small.
that. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's because it's slightly bigger than Rhode Island. It's actually smaller than Rhode Island.
Right. No shade to Delaware. It's just like, I forget about you guys. Just
all the
like
time.
Everyone forgets about Connecticut too.
Yeah.
So she's talking to these Irish dudes about how she's looking for a white man to marry. She's flirting it up. She's distracting them just long enough for her party to go by unnoticed. Yeah. Then off they go.
I mean, dude, it's just fucking...
Yes.
She's doing all the things James Bond does.
Literally. So, another big moment of Harriet Tubman's anti-slavery career took place in June of 1863 when Harriet helped Union Colonel James Montgomery, who was a former compatriot of John Brown. We'll talk more about him later. He's important.
Also a fucking hard ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Tragic, interesting life.
Yeah.
He could make an episode. I was wondering if there was a TV show or movie made about him, because I was reading about him this week.
Be.
There's a TV show that was who's the guy? Ewan McGregor, I think plays him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, what a character.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harriet was helping Union Colonel James Montgomery to lead soldiers up the Combahee River in South Carolina. They were setting plantations and storehouses on fire.
Yes.
They liberated more than 700 slaves. So, even though the count
it's in 1863, so this is in the shit of it.
In the shit.
Yeah.
In the fucking shit. She was literally leading Civil War troops. It's badass.
It's fucking badass, dude.
Yeah, just setting shit on fire.
Yes.
That's the way to do it, man. Fucking burn that motherfucker down.
I mean, that's deep into the Civil War. That was
whoo. Right. So that's why that 70 figure count for the people that, really
right.
accurate figure for the amount of people that she helped is way higher.
Right.
Yeah. So more information about Harriet Tubman comes to us from Franklin Sanborn, who is a Boston schoolteacher and journalist. First met Harriet in 1858 through a network of abolitionists secretly funding John Brown's planned raid.
Yeah.
He also stayed with Frederick Douglass for a time. John Brown did. So there was a lot going on behind the scenes to help him.
Yeah, it was this whole conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking sick.
So Harriet ends up trusting Franklin Sanborn to write some of her story in a newspaper that he edited called the Boston Commonwealth.
Okay.
And in his writing, she's described as the most shrewd and practical person in the world, yet she is a firm believer in omens, dreams, and warnings. And I personally take umbrage with that yet.
Yeah.
Because one can be shrewd and practical and also recognize their dreams as having importance.
Yeah, nothing ever changes, man.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because, like many others, Franklin Sanborn had difficulty reconciling Harriet's paramilitary skills with her paranormal skills.
As we've seen, those two things are intimately connected.
Yeah. They're actually... It's really great to have both of them.
Yeah, I feel like they only come in both.
Yeah. So, whenever Sanborn wrote about her omens, dreams, and warnings, he kind of made sure to make a disclaimer to readers that I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's hard to believe. I doubt it too. Okay. He kind of felt the need to make a disclaimer, but at least he included them. I mean, some biographers just scrapped it out entirely. Right. Some do not even mention it.
Boston certainly doesn't change.
Fucking Boston.
Fucking Boston.
Boston.
He's just a guy from Boston. He doesn't know nothing about dreams, no omens, whatever, what have yous.
Spent 2 months in Boston, went fucking crazy. All right. Remember Sarah Bradford?
Yeah.
The first biographer of Harriet?
Yeah.
She, too, was very quick to signal to readers that she had doubts. Sarah made sure to only include stories that could be verified by others or that had witnesses. So, like, you know, they were worried about discrediting Harriet, but also they were worried about discrediting themselves.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
So now that we know more about who this information about her visions is being filtered through,
Sure.
which are these sort of skeptical-ish people, let's talk about them. Let's talk about the omens and dreams.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what song to put.
I got something.
Okay.
I
thought you might.
The Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valleys and the shadows of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.
Yeah, just going to drop a little 23rd Psalm in there.
Funny.
Yeah.
So before ever escaping from Edward Brodess's plantation, Harriet used to dream of flying over fields and towns, rivers and mountains, looking down at them like a bird, and at last reaching either a great fence or a river, and then she would start to fly over the river and then lose strength, start sort of sinking down, and then a bunch of women dressed in white would put out their arms and just appear the sides of the river and lift their arms up, and that would help her to pull across, like, energetically. So nothing too odd about that dream. It's a dream, right?
Yeah.
Except Harriet said that when she came north, she remembered the places that she saw in those out-of-body dreams where she was floating over the land.
Yeah.
And even more curiously, she remembered the faces of the women who helped her cross the river. She ended up meeting many of them along her journey.
No shit.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know how true it is. They say you can't dream of faces that you haven't seen.
I don't know.
Well, if that is true, it means our dreams are all fucked up from people's back then because we see a lot more faces every day.
Yeah.
So it'd be a lot more likely for us to dream of a face that we think we've never seen, but then see someone who looks like it later on. It'd be a lot less likely.
We see a lot of faces.
We see a lot more faces.
During the mid-1850s, when Harriet was going on a bunch of dangerous missions, there was a reward being offered for her capture.
Hell yeah.
You know, she was definitely a wanted woman.
Yeah.
And several times she came extremely close to being taken or found.
Yeah.
And was only able to escape thanks to what she called a fluttering in her heart.
Oh, shit.
That were warnings from heaven. She said that she inherited this power from her father, who could always predict the weather and even foretold the Mexican War. So, this is the point in the episode. We were talking a little bit about this before we started recording.
Yeah.
This idea that people who have been through trauma tend to be more intuitive and hyper vigilant about their surroundings.
Yeah.
So, to me, it requires no stretch of the imagination to think that Harriet and her family members could possess what some would refer to as extrasensory perception. I found, like, actual studies on the cross-section between PTSD and intuition.
No shit.
And, yeah, I'll be damned if Harriet's childhood didn't mold her to be on the lookout for potential harm at all times.
Yeah.
Her ability to sense danger was off the charts.
Yeah.
Conscious or unconscious.
And, you know, while I do attribute a lot of psychic stuff to shit that we can't quite explain yet, or more woo-woo non-causal things, I think a lot of that is like can be described as not explained. Use the word described rather than explained for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm not talking to you, you know.
Yeah.
As like always just having the subconscious processing jacked up.
Right.
Like interpreting all this stuff just on the lower levels, all the signals you're getting.
Yeah.
Subconscious sounds, whatever.
Like, I'm sure there was times where she was traversing through the wilderness and maybe she didn't even consciously register it, but she might have, like, in some part of her brain noticed footprints that didn't come from her group.
Exactly.
You know? Or like maybe like a cigarette butt or like some markings of somebody smoking on the ground.
Yeah.
Like that did not come from them. Like just unconsciously noting that, and then it just registers as danger. Someone else is around here. And then that is almost, that is a message from the divine in a way, because it's, you know.
When you think about it, like you got too much, you know, if you're thinking about a lot of stuff in your conscious mind, you know, you're making all these plans, you're making sure not to fuck up, you got all these decisions you're making. It's like a more efficient way for danger for your mind to make, for your brain to make your mind aware of danger.
Right. Give it to God. Let God tell you.
Yeah. Just like
have an open channel with him to let you know when it's around.
Reroute it.
Yeah.
You know?
And that way it becomes this sort of like unconscious but fast process. Where God is just there to be like, hey, maybe you didn't notice those footprints, but they're there. Danger. Go the other way. Yeah.
Don't overload like her decision making and planning, which she has enough on her fucking plate to worry about.
Right.
Just cut out the middleman. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was very...
It is.
Interesting.
Yeah. I didn't realize you're going to have to send me some of those studies. I'd be interested in looking at that.
Yeah. One time, Sarah Bradford, the first biographer, she witnessed firsthand Harriet having an episode of religious rapture. Do you want to read the quote?
When the turns of somnolence come upon Harriet, her spirit, as she calls it, goes away from her body and visits other scenes and places. And if she sees them afterwards, they are perfectly familiar to her, and she can her way about alone.
Sounds like remote viewing.
Yeah, she's astral projecting, remote viewing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that has been described by many other people.
Yeah.
Many other situations.
Right.
That certainly weren't.
Time.
I really don't think Hal Puthoff was like, oh, I'll just do the Harriet Tubman bit. You know?
Right.
Oh, that's funny.
I was thinking about our tarot card too, the Seven of Wands.
Yeah.
It's this guy up on the hill who's in this battle, right? And he's alone.
Yeah.
Like
I got nowhere else to run.
I want to note Harriet's independence, you know?
Yeah.
And her strength within herself. Like she had a very strong internal locus of control. Like she was in charge of her destiny. She also boasted that she never lost a passenger. She always found her way. She always evaded danger. And yes, like God was guiding her too. That's the name that she gave that guiding force, is God.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a fine word.
It was her who did it all.
Yeah. Even
if it was with his grace, it was her. Like traveling 90 miles. That really impressed me. And also, that'd be really scary. Doing that all just like by yourself.
Yeah.
And if I got through that and made it to Philadelphia, I would believe myself capable of anything.
Yeah.
And I would also think that God was on my side.
Yeah.
Like I would have an unwavering belief that something out there believed in me and wanted me to succeed and survive.
It's funny. You see that same type of cockiness.
Yeah.
And like a lot of like spies and espionage people, and like,
right.
Like it's a necessary thing, I think.
Yeah, well,
be like a grizzled little shit talker.
A lot of people who have had brushes with really terrifying things seem to end up having also a lot of courage.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
which makes perfect sense. So yeah, and also I think that she really needed that relationship with God in order to do what she did. Because if you didn't have that courage, if you didn't have that belief that you were protected, that you were favored, that you were connected with the divine, then it would be a lot more challenging to have the bravery to do those things. You know, knowing that you have God on your side when you're alone.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, faltering causes more fuck ups than anything.
Yeah.
In in anything, in life, second guessing, doubling back once you've made a decision, and faltering. That's where things fall apart.
Right.
So never question any bullshit idea you ever get. Just do it.
So there's one letter from this guy, Thomas Garrett. He's an abolitionist from Delaware who describes one of Harriet's most famous exploits as a conductor on the Underground Railroad. The time she led a small group to freedom when all of a sudden God told her, stop right where you are. So she did. She's like, okay, what now, God? God's like, leave the road now, turn left. So she does. Turns left. She comes upon this stream of water. There's no boat, no bridge. She's like, okay, God, what now? Cross it. So it's March. It's cold. But Harriet trusts God, and she crosses the water, which goes as high as her armpits. It's actually a lot deeper than it looks. And the group is not following her until they see her get to the other side.
She's also tiny as fuck.
She's tiny, so it's not that deep.
It's up to my stomach.
Yeah. So once she gets across, they all go across the cold water, and then there's a second stream that they go across, and then they find this cabin that belongs to a black family who lets them in, gives them dry clothing and shelter for the evening. As a thank you, Harriet leaves them some underpants.
Hell yeah.
It's nice. Unfortunately, she does contract this really bad respiratory illness from the whole ordeal. But later on, it's discovered that this detour that God told her to take had probably saved them from being caught, because while they were hiding, the master of the fugitives that she was helping had put reward posters all over the nearby train station that was on the road up ahead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was opportune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll stop your scent from being tracked by the dogs. Yeah.
That's true. Which, that's another part of this era that I think about often, too, is like the idea of these packs of dogs.
The fucking dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what in the... Another story is when Harriet was overcome with the feeling that something bad was going on with her brothers. Some evil over their heads. She just sensed it. It was time to get them.
Because they didn't want to go, right?
Yeah. I guess they were too scared.
Yeah. Which makes, honestly...
Yeah, because if you're caught, you're fucked.
Yeah, like any one of us would like... It's a coin flip, but like it's a weighted coin flip with most people would probably stay.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well,
because if you get caught, you're getting killed very brutally.
Yeah. Or at least tortured very brutally.
Yeah.
Well, with the help of a friend, Harriet writes this letter to a literate free black man in the area where her brothers lived. So he can take it to them, read it to them. And basically this letter says, pack your shit. I'm coming to get you.
Yeah.
So Harriet arrives. It's Christmas Eve, and she finds her 3 brothers advertised on these posters, which is another thing. There's just posters all around advertising human beings.
Yeah.
They're going to be sold on Christmas Day to the highest bidder. Merry Christmas.
Oh my God. Okay. That has to be the darkest scene I could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
The Christmas Day slave market.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up.
It's so incredibly fucked up.
Oh my God, they probably had decorations up.
It's bad.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. And they're not being sold to another Maryland plantation either. No, they're getting sold to a chain gang.
Sick.
Further south. But when the guys come to retrieve the 3 brothers on Christmas Day to sell them, they're nowhere to be found.
They disappeared, just like Jesus.
Yep. Yeah, she got him just in the nick of time.
Yeah, that's sick.
She felt
that's
it,
crazy.
And it happened.
That's fucking nuts.
So, like, you know, as for verifying the claim of her having these precognitive visions and sensations, how the fuck do you prove something like that? How are you going to prove a vision?
You can't.
No. But as for verification, we do have the word of people that knew her.
Yeah.
The people that she had helped to freedom.
Yeah.
When interviewing former slaves in Canada in 1860, Black novelist and historian William Wells Brown writes that they told him Moses had the charm.
Mhm.
The whites can't catch Moses because, you see, she's born with the charm. The Lord has given Moses the power. She was supernaturally charming. She was just like good at reading situations and reading people, what she needed to say and do in the scenario to get by.
Yeah, she's a fucking magician, dude.
Yeah.
She's a bad motherfucker.
Like, and often the black soldiers in the camps that Harriet visited during the Civil War, they would have died for her because they believed she had what they called a charmed life.
Yeah, yeah.
That God was looking out for her. And she knew it. And a lot of other people knew it too. That God favored her.
Yeah. I mean, he fucking killed someone for her.
Yeah. She prayed for it, and he struck that man down.
A week and a day is all she had to do.
Yeah. So Thomas Garrett, the Delaware abolitionist who told us the story about the river up to her armpits.
Yeah.
He speaks very highly of Harriet's relationship with God. Do you want to read that quote?
Sure. In truth, I never met any person of any color who had more confidence in the voice of God as spoken directly to her soul. She has frequently told me that she talked with God, and he talked with her every day of her life, and she has declared to me that she felt no more fear of her former master, or any other person. She never ventured anywhere except where God sent her. Her faith in a supreme being was truly great. Interesting.
Yeah. So one thing that she relied on the supreme being for was money. She was also a financial wizard.
Really?
I mean, she got exactly the amount of money that she needed when she needed it. Like, oddly synchronistic.
Yeah.
Like, one time, she approached Thomas Garrett, and she's like, so, God tells me you've got some money for me.
I'm going to try that trick.
I love that line. And he responds, how much does thee want? $23?
$23.
$23? Probably a lot back then. $23? This is probably a pretty fucking penny.
Yeah.
Well, this was the first time that Harriet had ever gone to Thomas Garrett for money. But oddly enough, the day before, he had received a donation by mail.
Yeah.
A donation for Harriet.
Okay.
From this woman, Eliza Wigham of Scotland. And it was precisely the right amount. Yeah. So a year later, Harriet comes back and she's like, God says he got more money for me. Not as much as before, though. But you got some money. Indeed, a few days prior, Thomas Garrett had indeed received a donation sent from Europe for Harriet.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah. On another occasion, Harriet supernaturally receives the information that now her parents need to get out.
Yeah.
It's time to rescue them. And she's like, Lord, where do I get the money to go get them and pull this off? And God tells her to go to the office of a certain gentleman, a friend of the slaves in New York. And I think, like, what if this is John Murray Smith?
Yeah, what if it was?
Like, what if? I really hope not, because the guy in this story is kind of a dick to her.
Well, he was doing other shit at this point.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was playing with circle houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Harriet gets there, she's like, God tells me you have money for me, blah, blah, blah. And this dude is like, well, I guess God was wrong. But instead of leaving, she's like, nah. I'm just going to take a little nap right outside the office. I'm just going to hang out right here.
Yeah.
Take a little nap in the building. She wakes up. She finds that a bunch of generous strangers have donated $60
Holy
to her.
shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Presumably because when she was asleep, maybe some people recognized her in the office.
No, that's fucking...
You know,
Yeah.
It's Moses. So yeah, she went on her way rejoicing. She's got $60 and she's going to bring her parents back from the land of bondage, as Sarah Bradford puts it. So another time, Harriet needs a loan from her treasurer for exactly $7. And she's like, I'll repay you next Tuesday. I don't know how. Don't ask me how, but I'll have the money by next Tuesday. Lo and behold, the following Tuesday, her treasurer receives by mail a donation for Harriet for exactly $7.
Shit.
She just knows. She just knows
shit.
Yeah. All right.
Harriet Tubman's the coolest person in history, dude.
Yeah, she's super.
Like, what the fuck?
So one of the best known of Tubman's precognitive dreams is a recurring dream that she first had preceding her first meeting with John Brown in Ontario of April 1858. John Brown was in awe of Harriet. He called her the General.
Hell yeah.
And he was really hoping to get her on board for, his whole raid on Harper's Ferry that he'd been planning for several years. But she had this dream. Do you want to...
Sure.
Sequoia?
Yeah. She thought she was in a wilderness sort of place, all full of rocks and bushes, when she saw a serpent raise its head among the rocks, and as it did so, it became the head of an old man with a long white beard, gazing at her, wistful-like, just as if he were going to speak to me. And then 2 other heads rose up beside him, younger than he, and as she stood looking at them, and wondering what they could want with her, a great crowd of men rushed in and struck down the younger heads. And then the head of the old man, still looking at her so wishful. This dream she had again and again, and could not interpret it, but when she met Captain Brown, shortly after, behold, he was the very image of the head she had seen. But still she could not make out where her dream signified, till the news came to her of the tragedy of Harper's Ferry, and then she knew the other 2 heads were his 2 sons.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know the story, John Brown had a plan to lead an army of volunteers to take over the armory in Harper's Ferry so that they could distribute the weapons to the local slaves and basically have this rise against the slave owners, deplete Virginia of its slaves, and shatter the entire economy throughout the South. And he did end up leading this crusade on October 16th, 1859, with the help of just 21 men, way fewer than ideal.
Yeah.
And according to Thomas Sanborn, Harriet was in New York at the time of the raid, and she again had that feeling like something's wrong.
Yeah.
But she couldn't tell what. She thought for a while, and finally she realized it was Captain Brown in trouble, and that she should start to anticipate some bad news about the business. And, the next day, the paper reported what had taken place. The group had been successful at capturing the armory, cutting off the telegraph communications, but the neighboring town found out about it, and the militia was there waiting to take him out. Not good. Yeah. 2 of his sons were killed that day, and then 2 months later in December, John Brown was captured, tried, found guilty, and executed by hanging.
Yep.
And Harriet... seems like she might have felt a little bad about what happened.
She didn't, warn him?
Yeah, because initially she was super enthusiastic about helping him recruit volunteers, and she was meeting with him up until May of 1859. But then she kind of just ghosted him for summer and autumn leading up to the actual raid.
Yeah.
And it's not like he didn't have volunteers trying to locate her and contact her. She kind of just disappeared.
Yeah.
Was it her dream that kept her away? And if so, why didn't she warn him? I mean, she said that she didn't understand the meaning of it until after, but...
Yeah.
And also, given the type of man that John Brown was, do you think that he really would have cared about this dream?
No.
Yeah, right. So... I think Harriet just knew something was wrong, decided to keep it to herself. Maybe she knew somewhere inside of her that this whole raid was doomed to end in failure and just chose to keep out of it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe she knew that telling John Brown about a dream warning wouldn't have stopped him.
It would not have.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Wow. And I mean, that became a very well-known story.
Mm-hmm.
We learn about the raid at Harper's Ferry in school.
Right.
Probably because it was a white man with a long white beard.
Yes.
Did it, But.
Yeah, well, after John Brown died, Harriet had this religious devotion to him. She would pray to him daily.
No shit.
She said it was not a mere man who died at the gallows. It was God. God had died that day, too.
He looks the part.
That's true. So, yeah, she continues to have a bunch of dreams, she dreams about the wreck of the steamer City of Columbus that happened off of Martha's Vineyard.
No shit.
100 people died.
No shit.
She has a dream about the San Francisco earthquake that caused a bunch of deaths near the Venezuelan coastal capital of Caracas.
Fucking A.
She also has a dream about the unexpected death of her friend Fanny Seward, who was the daughter of Abe Lincoln's Secretary of State.
Huh.
So she's just having, these dreams left and right.
That must get exhausting.
Yeah, it must.
Yeah.
Harriet's spiritual background. It was probably like a sort of a mix-em-up of a few different traditions and practices. The Broaduses were Methodists, so she was forced to attend Methodist services.
Right.
But it's also speculated that she was probably influenced by a bunch of different churches, the Black evangelical churches at the time, Baptist churches, Episcopal, some Catholic influence in there, like she fasted on Fridays, which is mainly a Catholic practice.
I mean, it sounds like she has a syncretic, folk religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's also thought to have incorporated West African beliefs.
Yeah.
Like one of her grandparents was brought on a slave ship from what is now Ghana. And as a child, she was told her heritage was Ashanti, one of the main ethnic groups whose empire ruled in that region for like 300 years.
Mm. Yeah. Ghana's
so,
I'd love to go to.
Yeah. Whatever her spiritual background was, her version of God was very personal to her.
Yeah. I mean, it's like holy guardian angel shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, as one biographer puts it, an approachable partner and unfailing support.
Yeah.
God was her name for the source of visionary guidance. And for most Christians at the time, the idea that God could speak back to you when you pray, it's a little far out there. You know, like it was normal to pray to God, but if God talks back, that's for some reason that's only normal when it's the prophets in the Bible. That happens to
when the person's already dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even like Sarah Bradford, the historian and biographer, she was a little put off when Harriet would describe God speaking back to her.
Yeah.
Because it disagreed with Sarah Bradford's religious background.
Yeah.
But if you've listened to the podcast before, you also know that spiritualism was around at this time.
Yes.
And for spiritualists, the idea that other worldly forces could talk to you, that's not that far out there.
For sure. And also, P.P. Randolph was around.
Ah.
Yeah. That's like, I don't know when he was really doing his shit. He was born in 1825, so he was like roughly the same age as Harriet.
Mm-hmm.
And died in 1875.
Who is that for the listeners that don't know?
Right. P.B. Randolph was a free black man born in New York City. He was a magician. He was one of the very earliest developers of theories of sex magic. It was Rosicrucian. He either founded or was just a member of the Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor. And he was a really important character in, he was a fucking adventurer. Went to England, Persia. He had a huge interest in mysticism. Like he did Blavatsky and Crowley did his bit.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he is said to have committed suicide, but he was most likely murdered.
No shit.
Yeah. At 49, 1875. But like at this time, if you think like he was, the right way to think of it in this context is he was a magician.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
In the Western esoteric tradition, even like the earliest parts of it. And I wonder if any of his ideas made his way to Harriet Tubman. I have to imagine so.
I wonder.
I also don't know what time he was writing his books and stuff. Like he's a future episode, not a...
Totally.
Yeah.
So if you've listened to our episode on John Murray Spear or even our episodes on the Oneida community, you'll know that spiritualism, kooky beliefs were very prominent at this time. And also, a lot of abolitionists were spiritualists.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them. So it makes even more sense that, Harriet was so positively accepted by these circles.
Yeah. And she's a fucking hero, too.
Yeah. It's interesting that we don't have, I don't know.
She wasn't going to parties and shit, right?
Yeah.
She was working.
That's true.
Yeah.
That there's not too many spiritualist perspectives, written on her.
She was a busy lady.
So, after Bradford, there's this other guy, Earl Conrad. He writes a biography on Harriet, and he completely shrinks the spiritual and supernatural parts of the story. He was yet another one of those people that could not reconcile his version of her as a great American hero and revolutionary with what he thought was nonsense.
Right.
This guy Earl Conrad,
Yep.
Marxist materialist.
There it is.
Totally materialist.
Yep.
In the 1930s, he was researching Harriet's life. And in researching for this biography, he was writing to psychiatric hospitals about, why was she having these experiences? The narcolepsy, the hallucination, speaking to God. What do you think about that, hospitals?
Yeah.
And it's think about
what was wrong with Harriet Tubman.
Think about what psychiatric hospitals were like in the 30s.
Yeah, right.
Jesus
Christ.
Well, the physicians responded that, it's due to her traumatic experiences as a slave. She had head injuries and she probably had hysteria. I would love to do an episode on hysteria. And honestly, these doctors probably weren't wrong. Like, probably some of this, it does have to do.
Right. Yeah.
With her background, her head injuries.
Sure.
Hysteria, that's a barrel of monkeys.
Yeah.
But, they're not wrong, but they're not right either. So Conrad, he goes through this whole trouble of contacting the physicians, but ultimately just decides to scrap the entire subject entirely from his 1934 biography.
Jesus.
And a daughter of one of Harriet Tubman's nieces, a woman named Alice Brickler.
Yeah.
She writes a response. She writes a response to his exclusion of the information. She says, actually, do you want to read it? It's this little paragraph.
I may be wrong, but I believe that every age, every country, and every race, especially during the darkest history, has had its unusual souls who are in touch with some mysterious central originating force, a comprehensive, stupendous unity for which we have no adequate name. Aunt Harriet was one of those unusual souls. Her religion, her dreams, her visions were so bound together that nobody, and I certainly should not attempt it, could separate them.
Well fucking said, Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard agree.
And she goes on to say that it was her dreams which often saved her life.
Yeah.
It was her superhuman courage and beliefs which gave her the power to accomplish what she had undertaken. And you know what Conrad said in response to that? He said, God is a piece of heavy artillery employed by the rich to keep the poor content, satisfied, unrebellious, and unmoving.
See, I mean, as much as I'm softening up to Marxism, this is my problem right there.
That's a personal problem with Conrad. Like, he has such a bleak view of God.
No, I mean, but that's like that's the Karl Marx view of God, that it's a product of the opiate of the masses.
Yeah.
And
it certainly can be utilized as such, but also,
I would say that God is heavy artillery for sure.
Yeah.
Fucking killed a man, didn't he?
Right.
No, but yeah, and like, so, and it can be used, like, that's the fucking thing. Like, the spooky can be used. It's a tool. Mm-hmm. It's heavy artillery, and that's a powerful thing to invoke it amongst people that have a conception of God. It strengthens your argument for sure. But like,
amongst people that have a different conception of God, it weakens your argument a lot.
That's true.
And I think that was Conrad's concern.
Yeah.
He thought that if he included the whole God part in the story, that he was somehow diminishing Harriet's achievements, and that he wouldn't be writing a biography about her if he included that. It would just be a biography about the supreme being or whatever, He thought that by bringing it up, he was somehow crediting her achievements to this God, which is not accurate.
By changing the story, you're saying that you know better than she did.
Right.
That ain't cool.
Yeah. So, like, setting aside the issue of who or what Harriet was talking to, whether it was God or what.
Doesn't matter.
The fact was, these internal dialogues took place, and the way that she framed them in her mind was integral to the choices that she made and her life story.
Yeah.
So whoever that was she was talking to, if it was just herself, if it was her holy guardian angel.
Yeah.
Who knows? Whatever it was important, and that's her narrative. Mm-hmm. By the way, Alice Brickler, her niece.
Yeah.
She has a hilarious story about a time that her Aunt Harriet scared her.
Hell yeah.
That I just want to share now.
Hell yeah.
Aunt Harriet and Mother were talking as they sat in the yard. Tiring of their conversations, I wandered off in the tall grasses to pick wildflowers. Suddenly I became aware of something moving toward me through the grass. So smoothly did it glide with so little noise. I was frightened. Then reason conquered fear, and I knew it was Aunt Harriet, flat on her stomach, with only the use of her arms and serpentine movements of her body, gliding smoothly along. Mother helped her back to her chair, and they laughed. Aunt Harriet told me that was the way she had gone by many a sentinel during the war. So she's just slithering along in the grass.
She's doing fucking the Solid Snake thing.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Harriet. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
So now I want to get more into a discussion about the cause of her visions. Like, let's get more into that. Well, like we mentioned earlier, the later biographer, Larson, in her book Bound for the Promised Land, attributes Harriet's experiences to temporal lobe epilepsy, which symptoms include powerful religious visions, a switch between being hyperactive and really tired, out-of-body experiences, trance states. She definitely could have had it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know some people with epilepsy, and they know some weird shit sometimes.
Yeah. Does that make what she saw in her visions any less real?
No.
Yeah. Also, there has been some academic research done on precognition that supports that it can exist.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, our entire Psychic Spy series.
Yeah.
Joe McGonigal, he had that inner voice guiding him from danger during his time in Vietnam.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's not... They'll take umbrage with the fact that we said academic. Fuck it. There's been studies. But like also anecdotally, fucking grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Direct conversations. Like, and weird shit happened.
Yeah.
Like money, exact amounts of money at the last possible second in the most random ways. Shit like that. Like, she describes it as conversing.
Right.
You know?
I also think that, like, I mean, maybe you listening right now, you might have had a precognitive dream yourself, where you dream something and then later you've thought, oh shit, I've been here. Like, I know this person.
Yeah.
I recognize this place. And if you haven't, talk to the people you know. I'm sure 1, 2, maybe 3
Absolutely
have had one. It's actually surprisingly common. But unfortunately, how do you scientifically study people's dreams? Because it's all kind of like based on self-reporting, right? You can't like go into someone's mind and record a dream. You're really trusting on their interpretation of their dream states.
Yeah.
How do you measure dreams?
In terms of things that are purely subjective, it is impossible to peer review them.
Right. So
you know what I mean? Like,
you're not going to please a skeptic on this.
You can't.
So I'm not
impossible.
Even going to try. It's just a weird thing that happens.
Yeah.
And I'm inclined to buy it because, I don't know, weird shit happens.
Weird shit happens.
And yeah, onto the subject of the relationship between trauma.
Well, I would also say that, like, if you want to be a hard-ass materialist about it, you know, one of the ways, which I'm not, but like, I always try to look for that mechanistic explanation. It could be, again, the subconscious processing shit. Like, might just be modeling predictions of the future, and you might just be right.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can just predict the future by looking at what pieces are moving and shit like that.
Right.
And perhaps the unbound power of the subconscious is just a more powerful computer. And it's easier to compress that information into symbols and shit. And
humans are very pattern seeking.
Yeah, and patterns exist.
Yeah.
Patterns of behavior, patterns of...
cycles exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're attuned to patterns and cycles and you're registering those things, then it makes sense that you could also accurately predict things.
Yeah.
It's also not too hard for me to believe that maybe having her skull cracked open did help unlock some sort of abilities or difference in her brain structure.
Yeah.
And, you know, that doesn't mean go injuring yourself for superpowers or psychic powers.
No.
But there is kind of this thing that happens where there's a lot of psychics who attribute their powers to things like a head injury.
Yep.
Or like they got into a car accident and all of a sudden they had these...
heart attack and near-death experience.
Yeah. Or a transplant. Lightning strikes, fevers.
Yep.
Psychological trauma.
Yep.
You know, these things will change the way a person's brain works.
Yes. in like I'm almost done bringing it up because I've finished it at this point. But in Lavenda's Sinister Forces, hell of an argument about, you know, the initiatory experience is of being subjected to a state of helplessness, of submission and trauma, essentially, and then reconstituting yourself, which would also, I believe, be like, it's the and also the alchemy of like, take a thing, you break it down, you rebuild it stronger. Yeah. So it is like very easy for someone in her position to be subjected to a technically initiatory experience, if that, you know, hypothesis is correct.
Also, like, one thing that the Monroe Institute did is helping people to have these out-of-body experiences where if you have experienced trauma and you've gone through a lot of things that are unpleasant, one way that people just naturally deal with that is to go out of body. Yeah. And when you do that again and again and keep experiencing repeated trauma, that disassociation just becomes second nature. Yep. Therefore, like, all of these out-of-body flights to freedom that she experienced, really not that difficult to make sense of. Like, it's like what remote viewers were trained to do, except she was just trained to do it because
as a survival mechanism. Yeah. Did you read Perez write-up about his holotropic breathing experience?
No, not yet.
I'm gonna breathe all funny one day. I want to try it.
Oh yeah.
No, it's really interesting. I recommend it.
And yeah, like we mentioned earlier, staying awake for a long time, seeing weird stuff. Yeah. You know, like these hypnagogic states that she was effectively programmed to be able to power through, these sort of like liminal, dreamlike waking states, something that definitely helped her while making journeys by nightfall and receiving messages, probably, as being in that sort of semi-trance state. Yeah.
And it's all, again, it's like, you'll find that's also more magician training. Stay awake for a really long fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, whether the cause is neurological or psychological, trauma-induced, divinely ordained, all of these things, it's all part of Harriet's story, right? Yeah. All of these events, no matter what the who or what.
Yeah, all that trauma-induced, psychological, neurological, those are components. It's all components of Harriet Tubman.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a big story. Yeah. And it's one that I just brushed on in this podcast. Right. Because her story is big.
Yeah, and we wanted to do it about the psychic part.
And, you know, she's not just Harriet the psychic or Harriet the spy, the activist, the hero. She's really all of these things combined that I had no idea about. Right. Harriet the prankster who crawls in the grass to spook her out.
Like a goddamn Solid Snake.
Yeah. Who crawls in the grass to scare her niece. You know, or Harriet the charmer who flirts with the men on the bridge. You know, like that. These are just versions of her that I did not.
Up the river, burning plantations.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Setting things ablaze.
Yes. What a hard ass.
Right.
She's the coolest person in history. I swear to God, like, it's so fucking, it's ridiculously cool. Harriet Tubman is ridiculously cool.
The Seven of Wands really could not be more perfect either.
It really couldn't. That's a good one.
Because it is this person that is standing strong by themselves, fighting.
Yeah. Like, it's we're kind of talking this about before we started recording, but like this idea of like the buck stops here. This is as bad as it could get. It does not matter. Like, I'm going down fighting. I'm not like, it doesn't seem like she understood.
And wands are like, that's fiery energy too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
It's action. And she fucking did. Yeah.
Going down in a blaze of glory.
Yeah. And she didn't go down in a blaze of glory. How did she die?
I don't know.
Shit.
It wasn't relevant to my research.
Such is the curse of the podcaster.
Yeah. No, but the Seven of Wands, it's like obviously a risk taker.
It's a risk. I mean, it's, you know, the dark side is like of the Seven of Wands is a lost cause.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the light side of it is like being willing to defend a cause that other people might think, like that others might think is lost. That should by all rights be lost. If you think about the progression there, the Eight of Wands has the help coming in.
Right.
Unexpectedly. And then the Nine of Wands is fucking the unexpected victory. You're still there. Holy shit. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. fucking tight as hell. And also, like, her being surrounded, too.
Right.
Alone, like...
Yeah, because the
behind
Seven of
enemy
Wands
lines.
is like one man against a bunch.
Yeah.
Like...
Got a little more Harriet Tubman in you.
Seriously.
Yeah. You can learn a lot from her.
Like, this week, whenever I was like, I don't want to vacuum, I'm like...
What would Harriet Tubman do?
Yeah.
She'd burn this place to the fucking ground.
I know. I'm just like, really, bitch? You can't vacuum? You can't find it within yourself? You want to change the world, but you can't do a dish? That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fucking A. Hell
I
yeah.
don't do her for this one.
Yeah. Hell yeah, Harriet Tubman. Fuck yeah. That was really cool.
You want to close this out?
Close this out?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can find us on all the social media bullshit. You'll do it. I believe in you.
Yep, we're on Instagram.
Yeah.
We're on Twitter.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook.
Don't even mention it. Who cares? Let it die.
Yeah. Fuck Facebook.
No, just let it die.
Yeah.
Just... If you like what we do here and you want to support the show, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/thenonsensebazaar. $5 a month. No more, no less.
We do a bonus episode.
Yeah,
we do a bonus show.
Yeah, we do a bi-weekly bonus show. Get into behind the research. Sometimes it's more personal. Sometimes it's just bullshitting. And it's really fun. We do that every other week. And yeah, you can get access to that and all the ones we've done so far on our Patreon. $5 a month. And we really appreciate it. And thank you guys for listening, for being cool. And take care of yourselves out there.
Take care. Peace out.
Peace.